The Pathways to Work Evidence Clearinghouse logo appears and transitions to the upper left-hand corner of the Pathways to Work Evidence Clearinghouse website homepage as the page fills the frame. The homepage includes a photo of a construction worker on a job site. A mouse pointer appears, hovers over the Find Interventions That Work drop-down menu at the top of the page, and clicks on Find Interventions That Work from the drop-down menu.
The Pathways to Work Evidence Clearinghouse was developed to share information on how to improve employment outcomes for individuals with low incomes.
The Find Interventions That Work webpage opens, where a list of interventions appear with their effectiveness by outcome domain, which include increasing earnings, increasing employment, decreasing public benefit receipt, and increasing education and training.
By offering information about the effectiveness of employment-focused interventions,
a young man sits at his desk and uses his computer. Shot transitions to a middle-aged man using his computer.
Pathways gives service providers, program managers, policy experts, and other decision-makers evidence about what works. In this video,
a side-by-side comparison of the Project Quality Employment Through Skills Training webpage, referred to in this video as Project Quest, and the Personal Roads to Individual Development and Employment webpage, referred to in this video as PRIDE, webpages appear. Shot scrolls down the pages.
We'll walk through two interventions to show examples of the kind of information available and how you can use that information to make decisions.
A title card appears on the screen that reads, "What basic information is provided about each intervention?"
Let's say you, or your funders,
the same middle-aged man appears using his computer,
are interested in finding interventions that increase earnings.
The Project Quest webpage appears. The screen animates to highlight the webpage title, Project Quality Employment Through Skills Training, Quest.
We'll use Project Quest as our first example.
Screen zooms in slightly and a blue box highlights the bold text at the top of the page description.
First, in this bold type, is a brief overview which can help you quickly understand the goals of the intervention.
Screen zooms out slightly and a blue box highlights the body text of the webpage. The mouse pointer scrolls over this section.
Just below, there's a longer description of the intervention which provides even more detail on its services and population served. Need facts in a hurry?
Mouse pointer scrolls over information on the right sidebar of the web page. This information is highlighted in a blue box and expands to animate. Mouse pointer scrolls over the terms populations and employment barriers, intervention services, and settings.
Check out the sidebar for quick snippets of information, like the intervention services and the setting.
The highlighted sidebar animates back into place on web page. Web page scrolls down to a section called Effectiveness Rating and Effect by Outcome Domain. The section includes an effectiveness rating table, which shows reports on changes in outcomes that an intervention is expected to have. The columns in the table include Outcome Domain, Term, Effectiveness Rating, Effect in 2018 dollars and percentages, Effect in standard deviations, and sample size. The rows in the table include Increase Earning, Increase Employment, Decrease Benefit Receipt, and Increase Education and Training.
And scrolling down, you get to a table showing effectiveness ratings.
The mouse pointer hovers over the effectiveness rating column and a blue box animates around the column,
which can help you decide if the intervention is likely to produce the kinds of results you're looking for.
A title card appears on the screen that reads, "What do effectiveness ratings mean?" The title card disappears and the Project Quest effectiveness rating table appears back on screen.
Interventions like Project Quest.
A blue box animates around the Outcome Domain column. The mouse pointer hovers over 4 boxes which say Increase Earnings, Increase Employment, Decrease Benefit Receipt, and Increase Education and Training.
Are assessed across a range of outcomes related to earnings, employment, benefit receipt, and education and training.
The blue box disappears to reveal the full effectiveness rating table.
The Pathways Clearinghouse reviews research on an intervention.
A blue box animates around the effectiveness rating column. The mouse pointer hovers over the effectiveness rating symbols in the column,
and assigns an effectiveness rating to help you understand what impact that intervention is likely to have.
The shot zooms in on a symbol of a light green circle with an arrow pointing up.
The ratings can tell you about the nature and strength of the evidence supporting those impacts.
The symbol animates into 6 symbols. The first is a dark green circle with a white star in the center. The second is a light green circle with a black arrow pointing up in the center. The third is a light red circle with an X in the center. The fourth is a yellow circle divided in half into dark and light shades of yellow. The fifth is a gray circle divided diagonally into white and light gray shades. And the sixth is a white circle outlined in gray.
Within each outcome domain, we assess the intervention as
Screen animates so only the dark green circle with a white star in the center appears. The words "well supported" appear on screen.
Well supported.
Symbol transitions to the light green circle with a black arrow. The words "supported" appear on screen.
Supported.
Symbol transitions to the light red circle with an X in the center. The words "not supported" appear on screen.
Not supported.
Symbol transitions to the yellow circle divided in half into a dark and light shade of yellow. The words mixed supported appear on screen.
Or having mixed support for improving that outcome based on the existing evidence.
Symbol transitions to the gray circle divided diagonally into white and light gray shades. The words insufficient evidence appear on screen.
Or there may be insufficient.
Symbol transitions to the white circle outlined in gray. The words no evidence appear on screen.
Or no evidence to assign a rating.
All 6 symbols animate back on screen.
These ratings are important because they can tell you whether implementing the intervention.
Shot transitions to a scene of an African American woman leading a training in a classroom. The African American woman is standing at the front of the classroom speaking to participants. The shot pans over several participants of various ages and races. The shot ends with the instructor leaning over a participant's shoulder as they review a workbook together in the classroom.
With a new but similar population is likely to produce favorable results in a given outcome domain, such as earnings or employment. These ratings are not, however, a guarantee of future performance.
The Pathways to Work Clearinghouse glossary webpage appears on screen.
You can learn more about what each of these ratings means in the glossary.
A title card appears on screen that reads, "How are effectiveness ratings used?" The title card disappears, and the Project Quest effectiveness rating table appears back on screen.
Remembering that we're searching for interventions that increase earnings, let's look at how effectiveness ratings are applied for Project Quest.
A blue box animates around the Increase Earnings row to highlight the short-term decrease in earnings of $3,619 per year. There is an insufficient evidence symbol in the effectiveness rating column. The mouse hovers over $3,619 and a red arrow pointing down animates next to it.
Here, you'll see that Project Quest was associated with a decrease in short-term earnings.
The mouse pointer hovers over the insufficient evidence symbol. The gray circle divided diagonally into white and light gray shades animates.
But you'll also see this domain has an insufficient evidence rating. This means that there is not enough evidence to know whether a similar intervention would see the same impact on short-term earnings.
The blue box expands to include the long and very long-term earnings rows. The long-term earnings row has a well-supported evidence rating and an increase in $4,434 per year. The very long-term earnings row has a well-supported evidence rating and an increase in $4,874 per year.
But on the other hand, long and very long-term earnings have the supported symbol. This tells you that there is enough evidence to expect a similar increase in long and very long-term earnings for similar interventions. In other words, we have some confidence that you will see similar changes in long and very long-term earnings if you were to implement this intervention with a similar population.
A title card appears on screen that reads, "Should I look at other interventions?" The title card disappears, and a side-by-side comparison of the Project Quest and Pride web pages appear.
Looking at other interventions can help you determine which interventions will work best for your organization and your clients.
The Project Quest web page disappears, and the Pride web page animates to take up the full screen. The screen animates to highlight the web page title, Personal Roads to Individual Development and Employment, Pride.
Let's turn to Pride.
Screen zooms in slightly, and a blue box highlights the bold text at the top of the page description.
Like Project Quest, there is an overview.
Screen zooms out slightly, and a blue box highlights the body text of the web page. The mouse pointer scrolls over this section.
Detailed description.
Mouse pointer scrolls over information on the sidebar on the right of the web page. This information is highlighted in a blue box and zooms out to animate.
And a sidebar with highlights.
Page scrolls down and zooms in on the effectiveness ratings table.
In the effectiveness ratings table,
blue box animates around the Increase Earnings short-term row. The row shows a well-supported effectiveness rating symbol.
You see there is some evidence that Pride increases earnings in the short term.
Blue box expands to include the long-term row, which shows an insufficient evidence rating, and the very long-term row, which shows a no evidence rating.
But there is insufficient evidence to show it improves earnings in the long term, and no evidence for the very long term. So, if you were to implement this intervention, you could expect to see similar changes for your clients in the short term, but not in the long or very long term.
A title card appears on the screen that reads, "Are there other factors I should consider?" The title card disappears, and the Pride webpage screen scrolls past the effectiveness ratings table to the implementation details section.
If you need more information about an intervention, scroll down to the implementation details.
A blue box animates around the section header, Implementation Details. The mouse pointer hovers over the Population Served subheader.
This section tells you about the population served.
Page scrolls down slightly, and the mouse pointer hovers over the Description of Services Implemented subheader.
the intervention services.
Page scrolls down slightly and the mouse pointer hovers over the staffing subheader.
Staff involved, and more.
Shot transitions to previous classroom scene where instructor is drawing on a whiteboard. Shot transitions to instructor talking with a young African American woman in the classroom. Shot transitions to wider view of instructor in classroom.
It's one more way to help you determine if a particular intervention is a good fit for your organization and whether it will meet the needs of your clients. It can also give you ideas for adapting your current program or services to be more aligned with interventions that are supported by evidence.
The Pathways to Work Clearinghouse homepage appears. The shot scrolls down the homepage.
As you've seen, this website is a great resource for finding evidence of what works. Rigorously vetted, frequently updated with the latest evidence, and all in one place.
The homepage fades away and the Pathways to Work Clearinghouse logo appears. pathwaystowork.acf.hhs.gov.
Thanks for watching, and visit often.